All right, what's up, guys? We are live, ready to rock. 3 minutes, 50 seconds out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. We have had a bit of a back and forth here thus far this morning. Oftentimes, what you'll see, this happens at least 50% of the time, is when you get that hard push off the open, you get a hell of a reversal times 2 or 3. Okay, so we never actually got the outside close. Really the best trade so far of the day was this close. Arguably this close, you could say. Obviously, in hindsight, this one was better, but this bar was a lot cleaner. So let's keep looking here. 3 minutes out. Let's see what we get. We are looking at a 5-minute chart. I am trading the December NQ futures contract. And then I'm copy trading across a whole bunch of prop accounts, Take Profit Trader, and Apex. And depending on the account size, I am mixing minis with micros, as is typical. All right, good morning, guys. How we doing? Tallahassee, Roy, Gaines, Javaz, what's up, guys? How we doing? Hope we're doing well. All right, so range so far on the day is over 200 points, which is tremendous. ATR currently on the 5-minute chart, 27. So things are looking up. Things are looking up as far as volatility. This is likely a little bit left over from FOMC, of course. Then this morning we got U.S. initial jobless, which typically influences volatility for a little bit and then dies out. Tom, Chris, John, how we doing? Randy? Good to see you guys. 2 minutes out. Got a couple people ask about the copy trader. I'm using the affordable indicators copy trader. I've tried, I can't say a ton. I've tried 4. I've tried 4. Yes, 4. I had problems with all 3 up until this one. Now this one still does not get around the ghost order issue. So you guys will see sometimes when I close a position, it'll still say I'm in like 5 contracts or something. Those aren't real. The full position is closed because what happens is when you go to flatten, it flips you the opposite way briefly because it thinks you have a position, but you didn't. So if you're long, it'll sell those contracts, then it puts you short. So when I have to close the copy trader or flatten it at the end of a trade, that I have that glitch occur, which is not all the time, maybe 30% of the time that happens, then basically I just flatten it. It flips me the other way, and I flatten it a second time instantly. I lose the spread on those contracts. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Part of the game. That's a Ninja Trader issue, by the way. That is not a copy trader issue. Ninja Trader, I guess, has not updated to the modern day where a lot of people are trading with prop firms and copy trading, and that's still a glitch on their end. All right, here we go. Here comes the close. We're coming right into that 20 EMA on the 5-minute chart. We are like 10 points away from it. So we're going to have to see one more bar here. I'll tell you what, let's pop over to, let's take a look at what the 1 minute looks like. Yeah, I mean, for range scalping, I actually don't hate it. I don't hate it, but for price action, that's not looking too hot. 2 minute. Probably prefer the 1 minute, honestly, to the 2 minute. But the 5 minute is going to be king. Most of the time. Not all the time. Most of the time. Affordable indicators is the copy trader. David, good morning. Biblical, good to see you. All right, what are you guys thinking here? This is the time of day. Not the time of day, but this is the pattern where you could look at this two different ways, and neither one would be necessarily wrong, at least right now. You could look at this big giant this, right? And you would be relatively correct. And say, well, the 20 EMA's there, you know, that's a reasonable. Yeah, reasonable. But guess what? You could also look at this. Or you could say, hey, I think this is happening. So in a lot of ways, right now, I think getting long toward the bottom of this wedge, this channel, and this is not a bad idea. But without the price action confirmation, because it's never really confirmed, right? It's just the trigger for you to either buy or sell. That would not be a horrible idea. If I could get short up here, I would not hate that either. Let's get rid of all this garbage on the chart. We don't need all that. All right, less than 2 minutes out here on this 5-minute bar. Biblical, your go big strategy helped me make 980 today in 4 accounts. Good work. Very good work. Now keep that pushing, get that up to 15, 20 accounts. Numbers start getting big. 90 seconds. All right, if the bears can keep pushing this lower, I might have to get short here. Let's see if they can. Gonna need a little bit of a growing bear body compared to what that already is. $28 seconds out here. Bulls are getting hung up. They're saying, I don't know, man, we're going to buy that 20. All right, here we go. All right, 5 seconds out. I'm going to have to get the copy trader engaged. Let's see how this closes up and rolls over. I don't like that instant pop. We'll go next bar. We'll go next bar. Had we immediately rolled over and pushed down through that wick, I'd have punched it short with a limit and see if we can get filled. But that did not do that, so we're gonna have to go next bar. Tallahassee, do you consider not to go short because of the top of the top of the new hourly candle? No, I'm not looking at the hourly. But if we pull it up, you're talking this or this, the close. I don't know what you're talking about, but no, the answer is no. I don't look at an hourly chart, at least not intraday. I look at the 5-minute, the 2-minute, the 1-minute, the daily. It's all the same data. It really doesn't matter what chart you're looking at, guys. The data just gets, like, you can be looking at a 15-minute chart, see a pattern, and say, oh, this would be a little range on a 1-minute chart without looking at the 1-minute chart. start looking at some charts and, you know, you'll figure it out pretty damn quick. It's all the same data, just because it gets expressed differently. All right, we got about 3 minutes out here. Let's see if the bulls put something together. If they do take this up higher and close it above something clear, then it gets time to start thinking about putting on a little bit of risk, with the understanding that this may also be a trading range, meaning getting long, with the understanding that if this is a trading range, we might take it bar by bar and cut it. But let's see. We're still two minutes out. A lot can change here. And this little pullback off the highs has not really taken a breather yet. All right, less than 2 minutes out here. In a big, sizable bull body. Let's see how they can close this up, man. Pat, is it more difficult trading into all-time highs? No, I think that's some excuse that people like to make for why they're losing. It changes things a little bit. Maybe there's a little more hesitation on the test and a little more pop through on the break. That's about it. People like to make shit up and they put it in all the beginners' heads like, you shouldn't trade at all-time highs because they're fucking losing. That's why they say that. And then every beginner is like, you should never trade on the 3 days surrounding FOMC. It's like, good God. Go to work. Do your fucking job. Your job is to sit here and trade. All-time highs does not make it impossible to make money. You just don't have fucking any edge. That's the reality. 18 seconds out. Let's see how the bulls close this up. Still inside here. Come on, bulls. Let's grow some backbone. I'd have to see a pretty monster push. All right, let's pop around here. Here's the 1 minute. 1 minute's looking a little nicer. 2 minute. At this point now, after a few more bars, I actually prefer the 2 minute over the 1. But we have a shrinking bull body here coming right into what is likely, not likely, what is potentially a little flat top. All right, back to the 5 for now. Let's see if the bulls can pop this through. Give us some kind of entry here. Look to take out those little highs. All right, we're about halfway through this 5-minute bar. See if the bulls can get something done here. HR on the 5-minute, actually increasing. We're up to 29 from 27. That's very nice to see. All right, bulls. Can they get it done? We've got less than 2 minutes out. We may be putting on a trade here. Let's see. Certainly, if the bulls can come up, close it above this little wick high. And then at that point, you know, let's just see where it closes first. All right, I've got my eye on this wick here, and this wick high as well. And apparently so do the bulls, because they're showing some hang up in both spots, but let's see. We are 25 seconds out, and I am going to go ahead and get the copy trader engaged. Let's see how the bulls can close this up. Again, I have my eye on this wick here of the previous body. I especially need to see the bulls close above there. Above here would be tremendous, but I don't necessarily need that. Let's see how they close this up. 3 seconds. Punch that with a limit, and I will go ahead and suck this down. Yeah, I'm going to suck that down there. We'll take it bar by bar, and we'll see how the bulls act up here. Set that there. Actually, I'm going to go a little further than that, since we are taking it bar by bar. All right, let's see here. We're sitting long. Now, ATR is a little higher today. 27, 29, bouncing back and forth here on the 5-minute chart on NQ. So, we'll take it bar by bar, and the trades might be a little bit bigger. Which is totally cool, because we're copy trading across quite a few accounts. All right, now one thing that we do have to think about, by the way, is, hey, does this kind of thing become a trading range? Ideally, if that does happen, we'll be able to get bailed out, taking this bar by bar. Obviously, ideally, we're going to punch through and that will not become a trading range, because that was a pretty decent entry we got there, even in the face of what could potentially be a little flat top, but it's trying to break now. So, come on, bulls. Take this up through. Again, ATR about 28 right now. All right, now I've really got my eye on that high right ahead at 810. Let's see if the bulls can take this up toward there and make a test, huh? Now, worth mentioning, by the way, that level has only been there for maybe 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes. So, reasonably, are there a million stops up there? Probably not. Are there some? Yes, certainly. And those would be shorts stops, correct? So what are they? Well, they're stop market buy orders, which are basically just market buy orders, which is why you get to pop through when you stop hunt. Now, the more up there, the better. So the shorter lived the level is, the less are likely to be there. Okay, but if we can get a test, which is the number one question, can we get a test? If we can, I think we can get a little pop through. How much? It's tough to say. Maybe 5-10 points in this volatility environment. ATR right around 29. That seems reasonable in this volatility environment. So we'll see if we can even get a test first, and we'll take it from there. If the test struggles, we might have to pull it because we've been seeing a lot of double tops, triple tops, double bottoms, triple bottoms in the market as of late. But I do want to see a test. All right, bulls. Lots more work to do. Let's give us a little test of that high, baby. 24.8 to get through before we get to the high. There we go, bulls. Don't hate seeing that. Still, quite a bit more work to do here. All right, now again, the high that I'm looking at here, the longer it takes to get there, the more stops can accumulate, which is actually a good thing. That is sitting at about 809. We'll call it 810 if we can get a pop-up through 810. Hunt a few stops. Again, that level's been there less than an hour, but it's by far the most obvious level for shorts that enter during this pullback, and I suppose right now, to place their stops. Again, stop market buy orders, which are basically just regular market buy orders, pop us through. ATR is 28.5. This is where it becomes kind of an educated guessing game. It's like, well, how much can you reasonably expect to pop through if you get a test of the high and a break? My best estimate in this volatility would be maybe 5-10 points. Probably less than 10, but let's see. It's always kind of up in the air. But I do want to see that test for the risk that we're putting on here. All right, I will get this limit ready on 810. And see if we can kind of plop that down right ahead of the test. I want to leave it exposed, which is why I like to plop it manually right before a test, kind of more where I want it to be, a little closer to that break level. But I want to stay exposed because you guys have seen it happen quite a few times now on the stream, where because I stayed exposed to the bigger move, we got a lot more money out of a trade when news hits. Because I'm exposed to the downside, I might as well be exposed to the upside until this test comes. Can we get a break? That was not really much of a break. So, as that attempts, that break is struggling. All right, I'll pull it there if we can just get that filled. Move this upside, because we did not get much of a break. But that's good. I mean, we got, what did we get? We got an additional maybe 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4 points. So, good. Good trade. All right, that's number one on the day. What was that? $7,000? Pretty good. Let's move on. Yeah, I mean, listen, that was a good trade. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. That break kind of fucking sucked. That break was not great, huh? I was expecting a little more oomph to it. We got kind of a fall through and tumble, and immediately on the ground. But, I mean, hey, you know, it's been there less than an hour, the high a day level. What can you expect? But that was not the kind of stop hunting that we're after. But we got a few extra points out of it. That's fine. But, yes. Good trade. Yeah, Bo, so you mean like hotkeys? All right, we're less than 2 minutes out, by the way, on this 5-minute bar. Yeah, I'll just tell you right now what my hotkeys are. So, on NinjaTrader with futures, here's my layout. I have to look because I just know it by muscle memory. You know when you're in a typing position, if you ever took a typing class, and you got this guy on F, this guy on J, your thumb's on the space bar, or a thumb on the space bar, whatever, and then your other 4 fingers are on the keys next to those, right? What I do is I have Alt keys, your keyboard might not, but I have Alt keys on both sides of my space bar. So I put my fingers in a typing position, and all I do is move my thumbs off the space bar onto each Alt key. Then my hotkeys, Alt F, buy limit, Alt J, sell limit. I can open and close orders with each of those. It's not specific to opening or closing. I can open or close with each. Okay, and then to cut right now, just like my get out now key is Alt K. Alt semicolon is cancel orders. Alt E, stop limit buy. Alt I, stop limit sell. That's pretty much it. And then what I do is I take all those, and then I have a macro pad over here by a company called X Keys with their macro work software. And then all I do is I link the hotkeys over to here. So I have 2 options. If I don't feel like sitting here with my fingers on the keyboard, I can just kind of lean and put my fingers over here on the macro pad, and it does the exact same thing. And I have like 6 keys or something to do everything I need. That's it. It's very simple. But I mean, I gotta tell you, if you're not using hotkeys or macros, or at least hotkeys to trade, what are you doing? You're fumbling, man. You're trading manually. I don't even know what that means. Well, mouse and keyboard, clicking buttons all over the place. Come on, man. You can have hotkeys to change your sizing, by the way. It's the way to, it's non-negotiable. It's the way to do it. Unless you're like a swing trader putting on, 2 trades a week, and you're like, why do I need hotkeys? Well, you don't. But if you're trading actively intraday, make your life easy. It's a no-brainer. Coleman, good morning. How we doing? Man, if you guys haven't yet, hit like on the stream. Helps out a lot. And I greatly appreciate you doing so. Yeah, right now that's what it is. 64, right? I don't know, it'll change. I'm not married to any number. But it's not all micros, it's a mix. Some of them are minis. Depends on the account size. But yeah, most of that number is going to be made up of micros. Taz? Good morning. What's up, Kron? How we doing, brother? All right, we're less than 2 minutes out, by the way, on this 5-minute bar. Let's see how this closes up. Certainly right now, I mean, it's pretty clear. I'd say we're probably looking at kind of a wedge. So getting short here is kind of tough to do until we maybe get it closed like here, or especially here. Then I'm for sure getting short. Which would obviously take a few bars. But right now, I'm more interested in trying to get long again in a way that makes logical sense. I'm considering direct trading in NinjaTrader plus copy software. I heard you discussing it 30 minutes ago. Is it not working well? No, it was. Okay, it's working very well now. Extremely well. The setup I'm using works very well. The setup I'm running is NinjaTrader, which is what you guys see every day. I run the Affordable Indicators Copy Trader, and then what I do is I plug in Take Profit Trader via Tradeovate and Apex via Rhythmic. And then any other prop I put in, I try to use Tradeovate because it's easy because you can have multiple Tradeovate connections. But like Bullinox, it is a total pain in the ass. I have to use Rhythmic also, which means I have to disconnect my Apex and connect the Bullinox to even trade it, which is almost like not even worth it, to be honest. But I don't like inconvenient things. In my head, a huge reason to even want to like do well to begin with is so that you can make your life, you know, obviously still do difficult things for the sake of doing difficult things, but things that don't need to be complicated, I would prefer that they're convenient. I value that very highly. So having to disconnect is a total pain in the ass. But that's the setup I'm currently running. NinjaTrader, Affordable Indicators Copy Trader, Take Profit connected via Tradeovate, Apex connected via Rhythmic. Works very, very well. Devout, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about the orb. Yeah, it's a trend right now. I don't know. What are your thoughts on its consistency of determining the trend direction? Well, every day is not a trend. That's the fucking problem with the orb. That's the entire issue with that strategy. Now, it can work well when you break out and go. People make money with it. I'm not saying that they don't. The problem is when people trade primarily the orb and then the market ranges for 3 weeks, they don't do very well. And then they spiral psychologically. We see it all the time. And then they're like, I don't know what's going on, man. Like, the orb just isn't working. It's like, it's a range market, homeboy. Come on now. Like, context is so important. You can't just trade the orb every day of your life and make a whole bunch of money all the time. It's going to work really well when the market's trending. It'll work very well. I'm not saying it sucks. It's not going to do well when the context isn't right. And listen, I get the context wrong all the time. That's being a trader. You're going to lose 40% of the time. But I think it's a little easier to keep consistent when you kind of think about the context of what's actually going on, rather than blindly trying to trade a strategy with a marketable name. I mean, come on, guys. This has been going on in the trading space since the internet existed. Is it Steven or Stefan? Yes, we will see if we get 25K. Man, we're 200 points away. We could see it. I mean, the range on the day is yeah, 200 points. A little more. It's not impossible here. We're seeing some better volatility. So right now, for me, I'm kind of looking for any reasonable excuse to get long, though I'd prefer to do so in the lower end of this soft little bull channel. Yeah, that's a good question. So on my hotkeys with the buy sell limit orders, how does it choose the price? So my Alt J, which puts out a limit sell, just targets the offer. It puts that out at what the offer is at the time that I do it. My Alt F, which puts out a limit buy, just targets the bid at the time that I hit the button. Now you can flip those, by the way, if you want a bit of a higher certainty of getting a fill. But NQ moves quickly enough that I don't have that many issues getting fills when volatility is reasonable enough to be trading anyway, even targeting it the way I do. All right, we're about 3 minutes, 45 seconds out from the close here of this 5-minute bar. Oh man, I gotta hold up here. Yep, it's time for me to swap out a few accounts. Hang on. Because I am pushing that 30% rule on a few of these Apex. I had a good overnight session. I usually don't trade the overnight session, but I was sitting in here working. And 5 o'clock came around. And I was watching the open and I was like, shit, this thing's pushing higher. The price action was beautiful. So I put on a nice long and did very well. The trade last night was actually bigger than the one we just took. Believe it or not. Which means I need to swap out some of these accounts. Otherwise, I'm just shooting myself in the foot as far as that 30% rule for a few of these Apex. All right, 90 seconds out, by the way, till the close of this 5-minute bar. Let's see how this closes up. ATR is falling a little bit, but still high, 26.5. That is still a very, very good ATR. All right, I think we're ready. All right, 35 seconds here. This is closing basically as a doji. There is nothing going on here on this bar. Look at this. All right, that's gonna that bar is gonna close as the ugliest doji we've seen pretty much all day. So we're gonna have to go next bar here. Let's see what we get. Niles, what size accounts do you have? 50K or 300K? I run a mix. So, honestly, I think I really like the 50s just because it's like, at some point you just don't want to be like stressed out. And the 50s are I don't want to say so easy, but like they're pretty easy to pass if you need to like replace some. It's not a big deal. But I run the 50s, the 150s, 300, 250. But I like to lean heavier toward the 150s and 50s. Honestly. At Apex, at least. The 300s are great. It's just, they're great once you get them funded. But, like, the ratio is much different than the 50s. So if you need to replace them, it's like, it's kind of an undertaking. I mean, you got to sit here and kind of lock in and, like, scalp hard for a while. But they're great once you got them. All right, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Let's see here. Minute 26 out. All right, now you gotta start thinking, are we looking at this kind of deal? Or are we maybe looking at this kind of deal? Because that changes things quite a bit. Now, you never know for certain, obviously. We live in a fog as traders. So I think what I'm looking at doing is if this closes like reasonably down here, I'm not against getting long and taking it bar by bar. Protective stop down here. Though I'd prefer to cut it a little earlier if I get the opportunity to do so, meaning not a really volatile move downside all in one bar. So let's see how this closes though. 25 seconds out. All right, looking to see if we can get long here on the close of this bull body. Again, watching this bigger wedge. Also, we have the 20 EMA here on the 5. Not the reason I'm taking the trade, but a supporting factor for sure. See how this rolls over here. Pulling upside a little. I don't like to see that. Let's give this next bar 15 seconds. See if we can get a little pop lower. Ideally, take out the wick low of that previous bar. And I'll punch it. 5 seconds. All right, no trade. No trade. Just not there. The worse fill I get on the entry, the more I have to risk and the less potential reward. We are in a wedge. So I got to be picky in wedges like this. Lets me risk a little bit less to potentially make a little bit more. And doesn't change the win rate all that much. To be clear. All right, Bears trying to take this baby lower. We got to see here, man. They're testing this gold line, which is the 20 EMA here on the 5-minute chart. And if they can take it through any kind of reasonable amount and give us a decent close, then I think rather than looking at a soft bull channel, maybe we're looking at a bigger sideways trading range. But right now, with this hesitation around that level, I'm thinking I'm not yet sold on the bigger trading range. Meaning sideways trading range, which would mean we have to take this out and head back down, test this guy here. Let's see if that even becomes a conversation. Yeah, Terry, I agree. We might be looking at a double top. All right, 60 seconds out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. Let's see how it closes. I mean, a lot of hesitation. This is a shrinking bear body right now. Relatively clean bear body. And this one's having a little trouble getting through the 20 EMA on the 5. But if we can dump it off, then the next area to watch is right here. Let's see. A lot can change in 37 seconds. All right, here comes the rollover. It's going to close as a shrinking bear body right on top of that 20 here on the 5-minute chart. All right, so this next bar is going to be very necessary to see. Get a little more context. I think if the market's confused, I think a rule of thumb for me that has treated me well whenever I've pulled it out is if the market seems to be kind of confused, then how the hell am I supposed to figure it out if the market doesn't even know what it's doing? So we need a little more context here. Let the market figure this out. About 4.5 minutes out. So I will be back before this bar closes. Quick break, 2 minutes. All right, welcome back. And oh my goodness, we may have a trade to put on here. That is a big move. 90 seconds out. I've got my eye on this wick low here. We got to keep an eye on this potential. This is a possibility. We also have the 50% retracement point to think about. Well, let's see how this closes up. We might be putting on some risk. We might be putting on some risk, baby. Yet again here today. Let's see. No, I don't like to see that, Bears. Come on now, do your job. Are we seeing a sideways trading range is the question. Pursuit, good morning. How we doing? All right, well, we've got 15 seconds. Where my cursor is kind of my area of interest here. If the Bears can take this lower, clean this up, close it beneath there, I'd have to punch short. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. So we may instead just be looking at a sideways trading range here, which means certainly can't take that trade. That's too bad. That would have been a monster. Would have been a monster. All right, Bears, here we go. They're doing it again. At least they're trying to. We still got about 3 minutes. 3 minutes, 45 seconds left here on this 5-minute bar. So they have some time to put something together here for us. And I don't mind seeing what we're seeing. So let's see here. If those Bears can put something more reasonable together. All right, we're about halfway through this 5-minute bar. Let's see if the Bears can get something done for us, man. Need to see them take it downside through that previous bar's wick low and cleanly close near the low of itself, near the low of this current bar, if that makes sense. But beneath the previous bar's wick low. That would put me short because that'd be enough for me to say, all right, maybe we're not looking at a sideways trading range. Right now, I think we might just be looking at a big trading range. Those Bears got nice and cocky, and the Bulls stepped right in and said, nah. All right, 60 seconds here. Let's see what we get as far as a close. Can't even tell which way this is going to close. Yeah, I like VWAP for stocks in particular, especially small caps, mid caps. But on futures, whether you want to throw up volume weighted average price, a 10 EMA, a 20 EMA, a 50 EMA, it just doesn't really matter. I just throw it up so I don't get dizzy. All right, new 5-minute bar here. That was an extremely weak, completely inside, small bare body on that last bar. All right, 3 minutes, 45 seconds left here on this 5-minute bar. Let's see if the Bulls can actually close this up, like up here, then we have a question. The question becomes, is the 20 EMA relevant enough right now to not take that to the long side? That's a hard question to answer. All right, we're about halfway through this 5-minute bar. For me right now, that's my number one question. As far as price action is concerned, I really like the way this is developing. I like it a lot. The risk is low enough, I think, to take it, even in light of the 20 EMA here on the 5 being right there. But, you know, if I could take this and push it about 30 points higher, I would. Kind of get it out of the way. But let's see how this closes up. I might still grab this. All right, minute 35. We are on the 5-minute chart right now. Here on the NQ December contract. $60 seconds. Okay, so we're about 40 seconds out here. Again, we're looking at a 5-minute chart here on NQ. A lot of things going on. So this here, I'm looking at this as a potential trading range because this big bear body came down and tried it. It did break it, but it failed. Even in the face of the 20 EMA here on the 5-minute chart, this price action setup is very good if this bull body can hold above that previous bar's wick high. So, copy trader is engaged. I'm looking to get long if the bulls can close it right above that wick. And I will. I'll punch that using a limit order. And this makes my life very easy. All I have to do, set my protective stop at that curl, suck this guy upside, and then we take it bar by bar and see, hey, does that 20 EMA just straight up reject? Because we took it through on the last test. It took a second to get through, but this is the second test after the initial break test. And the EMA is just that. It's the EMA. I don't care too much about it, except for the fact that people are watching it. Self-fulfilling prophecy, nothing more, nothing less. That's it. All right. Come on, bulls. Take it upside through. All right, let's see. Do the bears take that wick low out? If they do, we'll cut it and move on. Two minutes left, by the way, on this 5-minute bar. They're struggling to take it out here. All right, the bears take that out. Stop is server side offload to the computer. Let's see if they can. Bulls keep trying to step ahead. At this point, I think the bears are going to take it through. 10 seconds left on this 5-minute bar. You know what we might get is a close here, rollover, pretty quick pop downside through. Stop us. Let's see if that happens here. Bulls are trying, man. All right, that'll stop us there. Okay, loser, let's move on. So now this has me wondering, I think, is this sideways trading range out the window? Are the bears going to take it back? Because we do have the 50% retracement point kind of right in the way. So you start thinking about that. All right, hang on, I'll be right back. Got a million things going on. All right, we're back here. 3 minutes out. Let's see how this bar closes up. This is starting to get a little bit weird right beneath this 20 EMA. Okay, ATR here on the 5 is still sitting at 26. 26.4, which is still pretty damn good. But the price action down in this little region the last 20-25 minutes has been kind of weird. But what it makes you start to think is that 20 EMA going to become more of a factor than we originally thought? And if it does, well, we'll find out. 90 seconds here. Minute 35. Till the close of this 5-minute bar. Let's see how this bull body acts. Okay, we've got 30 seconds till the close here of this 5-minute bar. We are right ahead of this 20 EMA on the 5-minute, which we have been struggling with. But if the bulls can pop it up and close it, like, especially like up here, I'd have to punch it to the long side. See if we can backfill the full range. But as this currently sits, that is not the plan. As this currently sits, we are struggling right around that region. So what I'm going to do is punch that to the short side, risk this little guy here, take it bar by bar, pull this out a little bit, and see. We'll see if that range continues. If the bulls pop it up through and try to backfill the whole range, and we'll take it bar by bar if we get the opportunity to do so. But right now, I want to be sitting to the short side and just see if these bulls keep struggling a little bit. They're trying to pop it through. Let's see if they can. All right, now, Bears, step in. Let's get the job done here. There's a weird little algo wick. Three minutes, 45 seconds left here. Lots of time on this 5-minute bar. Yeah, I don't love to see that. I think these bulls are a little too insecure. I think they're too insecure to do it. That's it, Bears. Step on in. Take it back down into that weird little trading range. All right, we're halfway through this bar here. 2.5 minutes out. Again, we're on the 5-minute chart here on NQ. This is the December contract. Don't forget, this was rollover week here. Oh, you bulls! Let's see if they can pop it through that little wick high. This little trade here, better than 1-to-1 reward to risk. Let's see if they take it out. Risk offloaded to the computer. Risk management, that is. All right, Bears, now step in. Step in and do it to them. If the bulls can do it, then we're just looking, I think, at a big sideways trading range. I'm just not really convinced until they can pop us up through. Honestly, what would convince me is a pop up through this wick high, but I'd manage risk on the pop through this wick high. Let's see if they can. Well, we're back to pretty much break even here on the trade. And I gotta tell you, that was not... If I were sitting long right now, I'd be saying kind of an ugly close out of the bulls, huh? So let's see if the bears can get the job done for us here. Oh, you bears. Let's go. Step in. ATR still 25. It's interesting that it's holding up so well, even though we're getting a lot of bars that aren't really doing much mixed in. Well, is someone gonna do something here? At this point, man, anybody. Let's make a move. All right, see if the bulls can do it. Okay, now what I don't want to see here is for price to just get glued to the 20 EMA. There's nothing worse than when that starts to happen. So let's just pick a direction and go. And either way here, we'll accept our fate on this trade and look for the next one. But right now, do not get glued to this 20 EMA is concern number one. ATR 24.5 currently. We're on the 5 minute. All right, now somebody, let's pick a direction and go. ATR 24.6, it's holding up. It's just, we're just seeing a lot of back and forth. The volatility's there, though. I don't want to complain too much. It's just not very definitive. So, let's see here. If the bulls can take out this little wick. Of course, automatically manage risk. We'll move on. Well, I mean, we're about 4 points away. Can the Bulls have enough backbone to push it through? I mean, at this point, nobody really has much backbone at all, do they? ATR finally starting to fall a little bit. We're down in the 22s. That's still respectable, by the way. 22 for the ATR on the 5-minute chart is still very good. I just don't want this thing to get glued to the 20 EMA and then have ATR tank off. Let's see if I can finally do it to us. There we go. Okay, it's about damn time. So we'll get flat there. Let's look for the next trade here. We're 3 minutes, 10 seconds out. I mean, again, for me to... Ultimately, we're looking at this. Why are the bulls having so much trouble is the question. If that's what we're looking at, then where are the bears getting the confidence from is my question. So let's see if that bear confidence starts to kind of lighten up. It looks like it might be here. All right, let's clean this up. 90 seconds out. Goodness, this bull body's starting to look better and better, I gotta tell you. Well, I mean, we're 20 seconds out, so I'm gonna have to get the copy trader engaged. I mean, this bull body is looking quite reasonable for what we were seeing these last 15 minutes compared to that. So, what I'm gonna do is get a stop limit buy. I'm not gonna hit it with a limit order. I just do not trust it quite that much. Suck that down there. Beautiful. And we were on the 5-minute chart, so I will give that 30 seconds. If we get a fill, great. If not, great. We'll pull it. Either way, I get what I want. Either no fill if we don't pop through, or a fill if we do. That is not going to give us a fill, so we'll go ahead and pull that. And look for the next one here. All right, I'll be right back. Couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. All right. We are back, and we're less than 2 minutes out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. Let's see if the bears can give us a half reasonable close here, because we are coming up on the top third of this bigger trading range. Pretty much the entirety of what's on your screen is the trading range that I'm looking at. So if the bears start to take a little bit of control here, things start to get semi-interesting. Let's take a look. Minute 25 out. Okay, this 5-minute bar is going to be closing here in about 30 seconds. Let's see what we get. I'm going to get the copy trader ready to rock, just in case we get a reasonable close here out of the bears. And if we do, especially down near this 779 region, which is the wick low of that previous bar, I'm going to get this ready. I'm going to pull it. I'm going to pull it. No trade there for me. Next bar here. I think we should pop around. Pop around to the 1 minute, the 2 minute. See what's going on over there. ATR is tanking. It's at 19.4 now, which is still respectable on the 5, but compared to what it was, it's really falling. Yeah, here's the 2 minute. ATR beneath 10 on the 2. All right, let's go around the horn one more time here. 1 minute, ATR 5.5. Yeah, I mean, not a lot to do there. The 2 minute is you know, ATR 9.4. It's fine. But beneath 10 on the 2 minute with the ATR, that's down here, by the way, if you're newer. That little red number down there, 9.5. That's the average range of a bar. On the 2 minute chart, when that starts getting beneath 10, it starts getting a little more difficult to do our job. All right, guys. Well, I want to be ready for the afternoon. So I'm going to go hit lunch now, and hopefully... I mean, look at these. Look at this. The range on these bars has just tanked in the last, like, 30 minutes. Even like 20 minutes, 15 minutes. So I'm going to hit lunch. Hopefully by the time I get back, for all of us, volatility will be back a little bit. We'll have broken one direction, kind of picked a direction, or at least backfilled the whole range. Because right now these bulls, you know, they're getting it done, but they seem pretty fucking insecure to me. So, all right, guys. Hey, Take Profit Trader is 40% off and no activation fee. That's a hell of a deal at Take Profit Trader, especially when you get daily payouts with code BIG, BIG, baby. And Apex is 80% off single day to pass with the same code, code BIG. All right, guys, subscribe to the channel. I will see you tomorrow morning. Have a good afternoon. Be patient. Let it come to you. When it does, hit it hard, put it on, accept the outcome. See you guys in the morning. Have a good one.